Hi, crafty friend. It's Justine Dvorak. I'm over here on the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'm going to make one card using both of these stamp sets, pieces from each, from the See You Soon stamps and Beach Huts stamps. These are gorgeous, and I've used these in a few different ways, so you can check out that on my Instagram or on my channel, but I have lots of inspiration, and the design team has done awesome with these two sets, and they're just so good. I thought I'd make another one. Why not, right? So this is some black Memento ink, which is Copic friendly, and I'm using the Pajama Crafter Stamps Marshmallow paper as well. And this is Copic color friendly paper. It's my favorite paper for Copic coloring, and it's very reasonable from Pajama Crafter Stamps. So I encourage you to check that out if you have not yet. This card will be somewhat of a clean and simple, but it's going to have lots of color packed into these adorable beach huts. So I'm going to color this kind of like it would be if I could design my own beach huts. What colors would you have your beach huts be? Maybe it would be different than what I have here, but that's all right. You can get the stamp set and color it however you'd like, which is the fun part about something like this, where you can kind of customize it and make it your own. I am going to make it kind of bright and cheerful, but you could make it soft and kind of like a demure color as well, if that's your jam. Anytime I'm Copic coloring, I really am trying to practice my skills. So I'm grabbing dark tones and light tones and trying to make different shading with the Copic markers, but it's always a learning process for me. So you're going to see I'm doing light, then dark, then light, then dark. I'm just kind of playing around with the color and kind of adding the color from the green beach hut to the grass, so it kind of coordinates a little bit. Something that is fun about this stamp set is the beach sign. Now, I'm not using this stamp on this card today, but it is from the same stamp set, and it's really cute, and it has a little seagull on top. So one thing I would do to make this card less clean and simple would be to add that sign on there, maybe with the log with the shells, but I really do like the clean and simple look of this project. So this beach hut stamp, if you coordinate it with the other one, which is the See You Soon, you can make so many different types of beach cards. And I know that summertime is kind of a hot time for having, pardon the pun, is kind of a hot time for having beach related projects, but you could have a beach all year long. Maybe you're looking for some Christmas card ideas. You could do this card as a Christmas card, just change the sentiment. It's going to be very red at the end. So maybe you have a little Santa, surfing Santa you could add to this. Just get creative. I am really enjoying these two stamp sets and mixing them together. The sentiments are also so good. So from the Beach Hut stamps, there's warm birthday wishes. And with that sentiment, I used that in the sand of one of my cards, and it was kind of like a brown color. So it kind of looked like sand in, like a message in the sand. There's also Life is Better at the Beach, which is so fun. And also Love You to the Beach and Back. The other stamp set, See You Soon, has See You Soon, and the C is really big, a beautiful scripty S. And then You Soon is nice and modern. And then there's the sentiment, Let Your Worries Wash Out with the Tide, which is perfect for using with the water stamp that comes with that. And then there's some birds you can add, but the sentiment that I'm going to pull out from the See You Soon stamps is going to be the one that says, sometimes in the waves of change, we find our true direction. So this is going to be a little bit of an inspirational card. Don't even get me started on how awesome that beach scene is with the little boardwalk or sandy walk down to the beach or up to the beach. You can really mix and match these two sets and have so many different layouts. You can put the water on the bottom. You could put the walkway on the bottom. You could add the sign. You could add the log, add the birds in the sky. You could make it a sunset. You could make it a bright day style beach, you could do a sunrise with some shading and have the rays going on. One way that I really, really like is how Michelle did it. Now, Michelle is actually the illustrator for both stamp sets. And then she went ahead and made she made a card with this, and she made it with a window looking out to the beach. And I think that is just so gorgeous. But you can get so creative with these beachy cards. And if beachy cards are your thing, the Mother Puffer stamp set would also be a really great one, because that puffer fish is just so fun. I actually made a card with it and turned it into balloons. So if you missed that, just look back in the videos on the Pajama Crafter Stamps channel and you can see it there. Now for the sand, I'm using different E's, which are Copic colors. They're kind of a neutral brown. And I'm going in with some of my darker colors here and just making little swoopy swoops and swishes to indicate maybe some bumps in the sand, or maybe where people have been walking or playing, because sand usually isn't smooth and perfect unless it has been raked, which on my beach, it probably would not be raked. Let's be real. But with the sand, I'm just going to try to make it look textured, but also nice and finished, and give it like a professional looking look, hopefully anyway, and just create a nice sand for my beach. And I'm going to keep my scene very contained to that area and have a bright sentiment underneath. And this will just make everything pop that is red in the picture. So I have the rule of 3. I have the life circle, or the life, whatever that life ring on the blue house or blue hut. I have red in the beach ball. I have red on the sand bucket. So it's going to tie in that red with my sentiment and my matting layer that's going underneath. Now I thought about using this stamp set that says "Love you to the beach and back," which would be so cute. Although I have so many cards in my stash right now that are either lovey-dovey or wedding themed or Valentine's-y, and I thought that this was going to be like another loving card, which I don't need another loving one. I do need encouragement cards, because I like to send those out when maybe someone reaches out to me and mentions that they're maybe not having the best time, or they're looking for some encouragement. So having encouragement style cards on hand is great, and might as well spread some love and happiness around with cards. You know, you can't just hoard the cards. You make them and send them out. At least that's what we try to do. Okay, I'm going to cut my panel down to 4 by 5 1/4. So this will just give a little bit of area for my matting layer to go around my card. Now I'm just taking a little bit off of each side, because I ended up doing this after I Copic colored. A little bit easier would be to do it before, but that's all right. Just use my little trimmer there and we're good to go. I'm going to add my sentiment on. And like I said, I want my sentiment to pop. I want this to go with my scene nicely and have that red elements on my scene pop. So I'm going to use Bee Sting ink, which is from Simon Hurley. So it's a nice bright red, and that will just really give a nice pop for my project. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm just so curious. Do you have beach huts where you are at? Here in Minnesota, we have a lot of lakes. If you know, it's like the land of 10,000 lakes. It's more like 3, I don't know. I think there's more than that. Probably like 20 to 30,000 lakes. But what's a lake? I don't know. Sometimes people think it's a puddle. But in Minnesota, we don't really have beach huts. We have what's called boat houses on lakes. So people will typically have like a cabin and then have like a little structure closer to the water, and you could live in there if you want. I don't have one, but I know they're a thing here. But if I were to choose which one I wanted to live in, I would choose the purple house, because it's cute and it's on the end and probably a little quieter. Plus it coordinates with the chairs. So all good things. But maybe you have beach huts for where you're watching. I'm just sharing my experience. So like I said, let me know down below. A lovely thing about using my MISTI is if I had a little mistake the first time I stamped, I can go ahead and re-ink my sentiment and try again. Sometimes I don't get a perfect impression, so at least this gives me a chance to make it nice and clear. And since I did already color everything, doing this after is a bit of a risk, but might as well take a risk in life. Stamp that sentiment after. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's what I do 90% of the time. All right, I'm going to add some paper behind my card, and I am going to finish this card off just like this. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments. It's a bit of a clean and simple, but some people who are very into the clean and simple would definitely not call this clean and simple because of the matted layer and also all of the color. I think for it to be clean and simple, technically for the people who are very strict about clean and simple, it has to be 10% of the card filled. The rest of it needs to be white space, but there's no rules in my craft room. So this is clean and simple for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you have liked or learned anything, please hit the like button and subscribe to the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel. There's a great video team now on the channel, so you'll see videos from Joy herself, the owner, from me, Pam, Angie. It's great. Anyway, we'll see you later. Bye, crafty friend.